Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You guys, it's breaking gals news. We are going back on tour with live in-person shows.
Oh my God.
It's only been several years since the last time we did that.
We're a little rusty. You're not going to want to miss this.
yeah, exactly. Please don't throw tomatoes at us. We are going to Texas, y'all.
Yeehaw!
How do you like me now?
Texas tea.
What's our first stop?
Ooh, well, first we're going to be in Houston on Wednesday, June 8th at White Oak Music Hall. We have absolutely loved this venue in the past. We can't wait to go back, and the doors for that show are at 7 p.m.
Yep, Wednesday, June 8th in Houston, 2022.
Yup.
The very next day, Thursday, June 9th, we're going to be in Austin.
Hauling ass to Austin in a van.
We love Austin. So that show is at the Stateside at the Paramount.
Ugh, love that venue
If you
so
know,
much.
you know. It's a great venue.
And last but not least, the gals are gonna do Dallas.
Oh, we're doing Dallas.
We got a live show at the Southside Music Hall Saturday, June 11th. So
Yes.
Dallas, we love to see you. You're a great town.
Yeah, and for tickets to any of these shows, you can head to our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com. These are up, they are for sale, and we want to see you.
We
Yes.
do. And if you have very specific questions about the shows or about the venue or tickets or parking, please contact the venues directly because we
know nothing.
know nothing. We barely know what we're doing, but we will be there on time.
Woohoo! Can't wait to see you in Texas.
See you soon.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, jeez.
Sure
Yeah.
Which basically just sound like mom accents.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I have been tagged in the, arguing Minnesota moms over hot dogs and brats TikTok approximately 900 times
I've
this
never
week.
seen that.
Well, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send it your way so you can be part of my pain.
Is it just arguing what is a hot dog versus what is a brat?
No,
Or
it's
which is
they're
better?
they're preparing for a barbecue, and one of the moms only got brats, but not everybody likes brats, and she didn't get hot dogs and
I
a
don't
whole
like
thing.
brats.
It's
I'd be
I
pissed.
love brats.
I
love
like brats. But kids tend to prefer hot
Yeah.
dogs.
They're
Oh,
too
yeah.
sausagey for me. I don't like the spice. I don't like the flavor.
Wow.
See, that's what I like about them.
Yep. Same.
Anyway, who are we besides brat or dog lovers?
Oh, I'm Kenyan. I'm a brat girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Lucy. I'm a hot dog, but a natural casing girl.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm Amanda. I'm a Bratz doll.
You kind of are a new wave brat doll.
Love
Yeah,
it.
you really
I'll
are.
take it. I love that. High praise. High praise.
Yes,
Sure.
praise. Woo!
The silence.
High praise. I'll take that as a compliment.
Crickets. Story of my life.
Being
I'm
a
fine.
Libra. Okay.
I'm fan.
So we have a very special fan pick this week brought to you by Jordan Brown. And Jordan has selected the topic of Scottish crimes.
Scottish.
Yeah. And we are probably
Merky
going to...
Bray.
Merky Bray, Bregadoon. We're probably going to attempt some Scottish accents. It's not going to go great. I also
No.
haven't looked at my Scottish Gaelic Duolingo in approximately 7 months.
Yep.
So,
That bout of mania has passed.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really intense for an oddly long time.
It was a lot.
it lasted a while. I
Oh,
got very
way too
far.
long. Yeah.
I was like
way too long.
really
It was-
good at it.
It's not great. I hated it.
My annual fee just renewed, so I think I'm going to have to get back into it.
Well, at least we'll have some plane rides to be on in the coming months that you
That's
can practice
true.
on.
Don't
I want you
practice out loud. Toggle that off.
I was literally just going to say, I want you to order, like, say Diet Coke, please, in Gaelic.
Shit, I can't remember anything. I cannot remember anything. It's
It
so
might
sad.
come back to you through this episode.
Yeah.
It might.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it. Anyway, it's fine. Jordan, our fan picker, has decided to dedicate this episode to their sister / BFF / gateway gal, Kendra.
Oh, hello, Kendra.
Shout
Top of the
out,
morning to you.
shout out, Kendra. Everyone
Irish,
thinks
whatever, it's fine.
my name is your name.
Lacey and Kendra.
Yeah, big
Lacey
shout out
and
to you
Kendra.
from Armando, Lacey, and Kendra.
What?
So-
Where the fuck does Lacey come from? I get called Lacey like a lot.
Yeah.
Lacey.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't get it.
When Lucy is the more common classic name.
Who knows? They're both pretty common, but I don't know how you get those mixed up.
Anywho, Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for Scottish crimes?
Well, our fan picker also made a recommendation to drink scotch.
Oh,
And I have been in a constant cycle of is it allergies or is it COVID? And I've been testing every day and it is not COVID. But I'm not fucking drinking scotch. I'm not fucking drinking anything today. But I thought I would. I am always wondering, like, oh, what's the difference between scotch and whiskey and blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God. That's one of my fun facts.
Yeah. So I just have 6 quick fun facts about scotch
okay.
to,
and if
to season
if
us.
you want to be drinking scotch,
Then
more
go
power
ahead.
to you.
I don't want heartburn after
Don't.
smelling it one time.
Yeah.
I'm
Smell, it's not, I don't understand it, how people can enjoy scotch.
I can't do
And
brown
straight
liquor,
up.
but yeah, people really like it. And I mean, if you can train your palate, you can find a lot of incredible flavors and nuances. I just have not been able to train my palate. It's not for me.
I like it in a cocktail. I like whiskey and
Mhm.
bourbon in a cocktail. But no, I can't drink it
I can't
straight.
do it straight. No.
No.
I can drink very little straight anymore anyway, just in general. I'm
When-
old.
When I lived with the men's rugby team in college, there
Lot
was
of
a lot of
scotch.
standing with all the injured players on the sidelines. And then they would just pass a bottle of scotch in a brown
Oh.
paper bag down the line, and we would just all take pulls.
Oh, God.
It's probably
no,
the
no,
last
no.
time I drank it straight.
Absolutely not. Okay.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm going to throw up. Okay. Fact number 1.
We're fine.
Scotch can only be made in Scotland, so it's like champagne.
Mhm.
Fact number 2. Scotch must be matured in oak casks for a minimum of 3 years and have a minimum ABV of 40%.
Holy shit.
They don't fuck
There we go.
around.
That's
Yeah.
That'll
where that
put some hair on your chest.
And face and feet and hands. Fact number 3. Only 3 basic raw materials are used to make scotch. Water, cereals, and yeast. So cereals would probably be just like grain,
Mhm.
wheat, whatever they're using. Fact number 4. A blended Scotch whiskey can contain over 100 different Scotch whiskeys, although usually between 20 and 40 is what they do.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of different shit to blend into
Well,
one
when you
thing.
think about it, though, if you're making all these different scotches and then you have like leftovers in the barrels, then it's upcycling. It's zero waste. Then you blend all these scotches, Scotch whiskeys, and then you make a blended Scotch whiskey, and you can use the remaining runoff, the backwash, if you will.
Oh.
Yum.
Fact number 5.
We're really selling scotch.
Yeah, I'm not a Scotch person. Is how many Scotch companies are going to be banging on my door to offer me a job in sales?
I know.
I'll sell your Scotch.
Our friends, our friends, Bob and Frizz,
They're cringing.
from Rhythm on the Rocks podcast right now are just like screaming into the void.
Their eye is twitching.
Yeah, if you actually care about scotch and or whiskey and or
Listen
bourbon,
to that show.
listen to Rhythm on the Rocks and not us.
But anyway, back to Scotch. the age on a bottle of any single malt or blended Scotch whiskey refers to the youngest whiskey used to make the product. So if you have a Scotch whiskey with those like 100 different blends,
They got to go with the youngest so they
Yeah.
don't oversell it.
I guess, which I think is kind of wild because then you could, be sipping on something that's,
Quite
an
old.
80 year and it's labeled as a 20 year. I mean, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they save those for
I would
higher
imagine.
end blends.
I would imagine, but yeah. And fun fact number 6. There are over 100 distilleries in Scotland, and every drop of scotch in the world will have come from one or more of them. Because again, scotch has to be made in Scotland.
And Scotland is not that big in terms
No.
of like size and or population.
No, and 100 distilleries is not that many to supply the world with scotch.
They must have
Kind
just
of
a
amazing.
shitload of barrels. Like, they
Yeah.
must just be very large distilleries.
I know, it's wild. So yeah, those are my scotch fun facts. I am not touching it.
I'm drinking water.
I am
No.
also drinking water.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
Ugh.
Cheers, everyone.
We're old.
We're fucking old. The thought of scotch made me gag.
I know. I can't.
It's rough stuff.
Cheers.
But it's interesting. So there's that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God
cheers.
bless.
All right. Well, Lucy, what's our background and maybe psych for Scottish crimes?
Oh.
No psych. Oh, I gotta get something. Hold on. One.
Is it
Is it a
bones?
jar of bones?
It sure is.
I was gonna say.
So I'm so sorry. I forgot the name of the person who sent it to me, but I think that they didn't know how big my jar of bones is, which is like a small-ish sized mason jar full of small goat tail bones.
Mm-hmm.
So this beautiful listener, thank you so much for this. I was in shock when I received this in the mail.
Oh God.
Apparently went to a goat farm, like a goat milk and meat farm or something, and she asked the farmer if there were any bones lying around that,
Y'all got
that
any
she
bones?
could have.
Any
Got any
spare
bones for my
bones?
favorite podcaster?
So
Nothing weird about this.
I'm gonna measure this jar.
Oh my God.
This
How big is
Lovely
it?
listener. Oh, it is.
Oh,
It's at least 10 inches tall.
it sounds big.
A
Sounds
jar
hefty.
with like a tibia, a rib, a shoulder. It's
A shoulder?
It's a large jar of bones. And
Oh
then
my
they
God.
took their, is it Cricut or Cricut machine?
I don't
like
know.
a crafting machine and made
Mhm.
letters that says shake your goat bones on the jar.
Oh my
That's
God,
so
how
cute.
fun.
Oh my
So,
God.
I'll
Send me a
post
pic.
I'll
Yeah.
post a pic with $1 for reference size reference.
Yes, for scale.
It's big. So no psych. So here we go.
All right.
Whoa. Okay.
I had to
Wow.
use 2 hands.
It's like a shake
It's a shake
weight.
weight. Yeah.
Yes. It's a primitive shake weight.
I love it.
I love it too. So
A
thank you to
primitive
that
shake
person.
weight.
I still have their note, but it's in a separate pile. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I have it somewhere. Anyway, no psych. Okay. So this is from Encyclopedia Britannica. Scotland, the most northerly of the 4 parts of the United Kingdom, occupies about one third of the island of Great Britain. And first of all, I guess I don't know the difference between the United Kingdom and Great Britain.
Well,
I think the only difference is that the United Kingdom includes Northern Ireland, which is on a separate island.
mhm.
So Great Britain is England, Scotland, and Ireland.
No, Ireland is its own country.
Oh.
Great Britain
Wales.
Great Britain, I believe, is England, Scotland, and Wales. And then the UK is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I think.
We'll Google it later.
Okay.
It's
There's no way to know.
shockingly complicated in my mind. Whatever. I'm an idiot. Okay. The name Scotland derives from the Latin Scotia, land of the Scots.
Like Nova Scotia?
Yeah,
Yes.
New Scotland.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I just got that.
Yes. A lot of people.
And you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia.
They
Which
do have
means
total
New
To the
eclipses.
Scotland.
camps of the soul.
So a lot of people who used to live in the Highlands, like before the 18th century, started moving out of the Highlands, probably like Industrial Revolution. They were just like, wow, there's an easier way to live somewhere else.
They were cleared off their land by greedy landlords who didn't want farmer tenants anymore, and they wanted to clear their land for like hunting and like sheep grazing. And so they
Oh.
forced off a bunch of poor people from their land, and they went to Canada and the US.
Sounds about right.
Great.
Sounds
And
about
other
white.
places. And
Yeah.
like England and Ireland and
Australia.
Australia. And yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a Perth, Scotland and a Perth, Australia.
Yeah.
And the Nova Scotia thing. Here we go. We're piecing together world history bit by bit.
As we go. The
Before
gals
your eyes.
misremember world history.
I will never get over Nova Scotia. I will never recover from this.
My Scottish ancestors went to Canada first, and then they made their way to North Dakota and then Minnesota.
Okay, is it Celtic or Celtic?
Celtic.
Celtic is just the basketball team,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Or is it baseball? It's basketball.
Basketball, I'm pretty sure.
It is basketball.
A ball.
It's in Boston, the Boston Celtics.
Okay, so it's Celtic. So the Scots were a Celtic people from Ireland who settled on the west coast of Great Britain in about the 5th century CE. The name Caledonia has often been applied to Scotland, especially
Credonia.
in poetry. Oh, Credonia. I wish. So Caledonia is derived from Caledoni or Caledoni, which is the Roman name of a tribe in the northern part of what is now Scotland. Lots of names going on. Okay, I just thought this was really, really cool. In terms of like the landscape and like the early peoples, glacier activity prior to the Mesolithic period has destroyed evidence of human activity in the area. So there may have been people around a super fucking long time ago, but it's believed that the first post-glacial groups of hunter-gatherers arrived in Scotland around 12,800 years ago.
Dang.
Wow.
Feels like yesterday. At the time, Scotland was covered in forests. They had more bog land, and the main form of transportation was by water.
Oh,
Very
so
uncomfortable.
did they have like canoes and stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
These settlers began building the first known permanent houses on Scottish soil around 9,500 years ago, and the first villages around 6,000 years ago. In the northern and western Isles, a lack of trees resulted in structures being built from local stone, and many structures, burial, and ritual sites are still preserved today. And this is the part that gives me goosebumps. This is the main reason I now want to go to Scotland.
Wow, okay.
An
Fairy rings.
Oh, yeah.
Better. It's called Skara Brae or Skara Brae.
Murky Bray.
Murky Brae is a Neolithic complex that dates back to around 3,180 BCE, making it older than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids.
Whoa.
Please go to the drive. This will be on the blog. I have, I think, 4 pictures of this area.
So cool.
Are you looking at it?
It's
Not
so cool.
yet,
It's
because I
so
forgot to
cool.
open the rest of my notes.
It's
That's
basically like they like dug out foundations and then built like stone
Cool.
slab walls.
It's
houses.
a whole fucking compound. It's like really,
They're hobbit holes.
they're
Yeah.
like hobbit holes.
They're cute, cozy little hobbit houses.
And
oh my
this
god!
is brilliant because they are like protected from the elements. They're naturally cool in the warm months, and they're insulated and warm in the cold months.
And it's windy as fuck, so they don't have to deal with that shit.
Yep.
This is. I want to live in one of these.
It
and
This
they're
is
right
like
on the
so
beach.
cute.
It's just so fucking cute. And then
That's so cool.
the one that shows the interior, they like
Yeah.
set it up to look like how it looked at the time. They have like a tarp, like there must have been like some sort of roof over it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just want to camp. I want to glamp in these.
Oh,
Yeah, I
can
want to
you
curl up
imagine?
on one of these sheepskin throws.
Oh, it
How
looks so
romantic.
cozy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Light a
see
little
some
fire
sort
in
of-
the center. Oh,
Periodic porno set in one of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
called Merky Bray.
Murky bray.
Murky babes.
There's a hole in my tarpaulin roof. What can you do to
Okay.
fix it?
Thatch my hole.
Ew, thatch. What a gross word. Okay. So I went down a little bit of a hole about Skara Bray. I love
Bray
it.
hole.
A Bray hole. I went down a Bray hole.
You did. K-hole, Bray hole.
Okay. So, despite historically being one of Europe's poorest countries, the people of Scotland have contributed greatly to the political and practical theories of progress. Scottish philosophers such as Francis Hutcheson, Adam Smith, and David Hume viewed humankind as a product of history and the pursuit of happiness as an inalienable right. This progressive ideal contributed substantially to the development of modern democracy. They're just like, they had this really kind of mean, inhospitable land. So they're like a very hardy people, and that just like, you know, make your own way, pursuit of happiness. You know, it's just the
don't
Scottish
tread
people.
on me.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Scotland and England have had a little bit of a rough history with each other.
A bet.
Tumultuous.
If you've ever seen Braveheart, which I will not be discussing William Wallace because he irks me.
I
And
will
also the
only be
movie is-
discussing Homunculus Wagner.
Braveheart the movie, not at all historically accurate.
No.
Entertaining, but also fuck Mel Gibson. So
Mel
we have a
Gibson's
lot
a
of
tool.
thoughts.
Also, the nickname Braveheart didn't even belong to William Wallace. It belonged to like another guy.
Robert the Bruce.
Yes, Robert the Bruce.
I don't know anything that you're talking about. So I'm just like, I hate what's his face. from
Mel
that movie,
Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
That's really what this boils down to. We don't like Mel Gibson. We're not talking about William Wallace. Okay.
Here for it.
For a very long time, Scotland has considered itself a separate country, and it has bound itself to historical fact and legend alike in an effort to retain national identity, as well as to the distinct dialect of English called Scots, which we'll get to. Scottish poet Hugh MacDiarmid. Got it?
McJarmich, I think.
McDirewolf.
Hugh MacD proclaimed, quote, "So we have faith in Scotland's hidden poors, the present's theirs, but are the past and future's ours." Got it. Nailed it.
No clue what you just said. I heard past and futures.
I think that means we have faith in the strength of Scotland. The present might be theirs, meaning England's, but the past and the future is ours.
Oh,
This
they're
is like-
hidden powers.
Powers.
This
Yeah.
is like the most sober and most confused I've been during an episode. I like cannot. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I need booze to unlock my brain. Like I don't know what's going on.
I think this
Maybe
is just,
that's why I didn't do well in high school.
I
Drink
think
enough.
this is just slightly outside of your wheelhouse, but we'll
Is
get more to things that you care about.
Yes, Amanda, once I get to my fun facts, you'll be re-engaged.
I
I
want
promise.
sheep and I want murky brays. That's it.
I don't have sheep. I got some weird shit coming your way.
I was
though.
in Brigadoon. I should be into this. It only appears every 100 years.
Oh, you'll like this part. So there is a 336-pound sandstone rock, which is called the Stone of Scone.
Love.
Scone, aka the Stoon of Destiny, which has been long associated with the crowning of Scottish kings. Legend says that it once had a plaque on it that translated to, "Unless the fates be faulty grown, and the prophet's voice be vain, where'er is found this sacred stoon, the Scottish race shall reign."
Incredible.
So the Stoon of Scone was stolen in 1296 by the English and taken to England, where it was placed in Westminster Abbey under the coronation chair. So the Scots were pissed about that for hundreds of years.
Get back our shit.
Yeah, don't take our stoon.
So that the stoon was stolen in 1296, and on Christmas Day in 1950, a group of Scottish nationalists took it back to Scotland. They broke in and stole it back.
Cool.
Westminster
Capture the flag,
Abbey.
baby.
Correct.
Literally, it was like
Under the throne.
There's like a movie about it. I don't know how accurate the movie is, but let's pretend 100%. And it was like 4 students, and they just hatched this plot, and they had a budget of like £100
Amazing.
and like a shitty little car, and they literally broke into Westminster Abbey and stole this stone.
That's epic.
I have
This
got to
reminds
watch that
me
movie.
So Minnesota soldiers stole, it's like some like West Virginia or somebody's fucking Confederate flag during like that war.
The Civil War.
You know, the big one. And they've been asking for it back for like decades and decades and decades. And Minnesota's just like, no, we're not giving it back.
You don't need
And
it.
it's like stored underneath like the state capitol.
Come
like
and
it's
get
not
it.
on display. Yeah.
Come and get
It's like, we took this. You can't have
You
it.
lost.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
That's a traitor's flag. It
Mhm.
means nothing, and you don't get to have it.
Yeah,
Well-
but they like still in modern day are asking for it back as part of their like state history. It's like, no.
No.
History.
Normally, I am all for returning stolen items from like museums and shit,
Right.
but fuck the Confederacy.
Not a captured Confederate flag.
Light it on fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Precisely.
Well, that's more justifiable than this, because England just took it, I think,
Right.
to be dicks because it had so much cultural importance to them.
Mhm.
And to put it under their own throne, it's just like,
No,
go
that's
fuck
fucking
yourselves.
And that's where all the
colonialism
English
bullshit.
kings and queens were crowned, still are.
Yep.
So
Coronation chair.
Exactly.
It's
So-
sending a very specific message.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this group of Scottish nationalists took it back to Scotland, but then the British government re-stole it and brought it back to the Abbey. So this is in the 50s. Finally, in 1996, exactly 700 years after it was first stolen from Scotland, the stoon was returned to Edinburgh.
The student.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. And if that wasn't enough of a win, Scotland elected its own goddamn parliament in 1999, which was the first time it had power over its own affairs since 1707 when it was merged with England to form the United Kingdom.
Protect the student.
And I think it was returned to Edinburgh, but there's some deal where like every time the English king or queen is newly crowned, they have to like send
Borrow
it
it?
back. Yeah, they have to like lend it back to England for the coronation, and then it goes back
God.
to Scotland.
It's like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
That's
so
so dumb.
Yeah. It's really heavy, and it's really just a rectangular rock.
It's a student.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, you do you.
Mm-hmm.
You student you.
You, Stoon, you. So normally, as you know, I like to make fun of the flag of whatever area we're talking about, but there just
Oh, yeah.
isn't really much to write home about
Mhm.
Scotland's flag. It's actually fairly tasteful. It's just a white X-shaped cross against blue, and my favorite part is that there is no official mandate for what shade of blue. It's just defined as azure. So
Oh.
some flags are like a navy blue, some are like a robin's egg blue. They're just kind of nice.
Whatever
Weird.
goes better with your palate.
Exactly.
Love
Huh.
that.
You're a
That's freedom
summer
right
or
there.
a winter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's freedom right
Depends
there.
on your skin tone, your hair color, your eye color, which
Mm-hmm.
we'll also get to. The design of the flag is also known as the Saltire or St. Andrew's cross because it's believed that St. Andrew was martyred via crucifixion.
Mm.
Okay, Amanda, you can plug back in now. Here are some fun facts about Scotland. And
Okay.
they've got a lot of really
I
fun
liked the
facts.
student.
I know. Lots of fun facts about Scotland. I was really impressed. So, Scotland has 3 official languages. The first is English, go figure. The second is Scots. And the third is Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic.
Garlic bread.
So, English is self explanatory. Scots is an indigenous language of Scotland, thought to be an ancient variety of English. And Scots is spoken by about 1.5 million people in Scotland.
Cool.
And
New
Gaelic.
Duolingo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we get the like classic Scottish words that we think of, like "we" and "lassie" and
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah.
Because that's not Gaelic. That's Scots.
Yeah. And Gaelic is spoken by only about 87,000 people plus Kenyan.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important that Kenyan learn it, because it's going
Spend
to take the world by storm.
10,000 hours learning it.
My
Whatever. It's fun
God.
and I like it.
Okay.
I'm getting back
Actually
into
spent
it.
10,000
You.
hours learning Scottish Gaelic.
No,
Are you
but
going to
that's,
become
like, the thing.
fluent just to spite us?
I got
Yes.
scared.
Zach has said, like, we want to do a big family trip to Scotland at some point, like my whole extended family. But Zach has said that he refuses to go unless I can get a Gaelic speaking guide and only speak to the guide in Gaelic the entire time we're on the trip.
Oh my God.
Well,
God.
have fun on
So
that
that's
trip.
my-
All right, get to work. Log those hours,
So
girl.
that's my goal.
Love it.
It's my short-term goal to become fluent in Gaelic. Alexander Graham Bell was from Scotland.
No way.
Yeah, way. That sounded like
Cool.
Gaelic. Scotland is home to the tallest waterfall in Britain, and its name, I'm going to nail this, Eas a Chwal Aluin.
I don't know. Eas a Chwal Aloin.
Nailed it. A loin.
I'm guessing.
A loincloth.
A loincloth. That's a
I'm
guess.
loining cats right now.
loin.
Or it could be a loin. I don't know.
That sounded exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, is there a difference?
This waterfall, a loin, is 658 feet tall, which is 3 times the height of Niagara Falls.
Wow.
It's a big fucker.
She's a big one. Yeah.
The
That
Scottish.
is a big fucker.
Mm-hmm. Look at that fucker.
Look at those fuckers.
The Scottish Highlands are also home to some of the tallest peaks in the UK. Very misty, very pretty.
Very tall.
Lots of sheep. Apparently, not a lot of farmers anymore. The Highlands are also where Loch Ness is, and therefore home to the Loch Ness Monster. And speaking of which, there's another Loch Monster in Loch Morar, and her name is Morag. Beautiful.
Love her.
Beautiful.
Just stunning.
She's described as brown, 30
What?
feet long, with 3 humps on her back and a snake-like head.
She's
What?
beauty and she's great.
She's great.
She's brown
She's
with a snake face.
I love her.
I know, Morag.
I love Morag.
Well, she might be dead. It's possible that she was shot to death in 1969 by 2 fishermen who claimed to have been attacked by her in their boat.
the true monsters of the Loch.
I
Yeah.
know. We
Men
need
of the 60s.
gun control. Loch Morar is the 17th deepest lake in the world. So this lake is, it's at its deepest part, it's a little over 1,000 feet deep.
Damn.
So her bones are down there.
They're down
we
there.
need to excavate.
I know. She's
Dig
in there
her
somewhere.
up. Dig her up.
Gross. Okay, so back to what Amanda was saying. Scottish whiskey is spelled without the E. So Scottish whiskey is the same thing as Scotch, and whiskey making dates back to at least 1495 when it was called Aqua Vita, water of life.
Bea.
What?
That's Scottish Gaelic for whiskey or water of life. Ushka is water and Bea is life.
Okay. Ushkabea.
It's all coming back.
Wow.
There we go. There we go. You are fluent.
Fluent.
All right, Amanda, this is your moment. The official animal of Scotland is the unicorn.
Yes! Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That is real good.
There's a photo on the drive of a unicorn in case you need reference.
Oh, and look at that bony lass.
She's bony. Scotland has approximately 790 islands, 660 of which are uninhabited.
I thought you were going to say 790 unicorns. And I was like, Jiscuse.
Prop could be. It's a
We don't
crazy
know.
place.
Yeah,
Oh.
660 of these islands are uninhabited by anyone other than unicorns.
Oh, I love it.
Edinburgh was the first city in the world to have its own fire brigade.
Oh.
Cool.
Hmm. There are over 600 square miles of freshwater lakes in Scotland, but like big deal, Minnesota has about 4,600.
Yeah, suck it, Scotland. Minnesota's
it.
basically the size of
We
Scotland.
had more glacial activity than you, Scotland.
Yes, Scotland. So
Well.
take your unicorn horn and shove it.
I don't think we have many lakes that are over 1,000 feet deep, though. So
So
We're not talking about depth.
yeah, we're talking about quantity, not quality.
girth, not depth.
Girth.
There are no nerve endings after a certain point anyway.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Jesus.
It
Oh
just
my
starts to
God.
get uncomfortable if I'm being totally honest.
There is such a thing as too big.
Too
Yeah.
deep of a glacier. Okay.
I don't like cervical play.
No. I don't enjoy bottoming out.
Yeah.
Ugh.
In case I wasn't
Leave
clear.
my cervical plug alone.
Alone. My membrane.
You're going to stimulate me into having my period.
Oh, God, you're giving me cramps.
Grapes.
So
Sketch.
I'm so sorry, listeners.
I'm not.
Oh my
I've
God.
never been sorry in my life.
Shame is not an emotion that I
It
have.
does not
in the
compute.
game.
No shame in this game. My brain isn't capable of shame.
You've got enough going on. Shame is on the back burner.
Sociopathy.
Yeah, and I am thriving.
Talk space. Okay. So tartan, you might be familiar. People call it plaid, and it's not. It's tartan.
Tartar, hardly nor.
First mentioned in 1538, which tartan you wore showed people what clan you were from. Each clan has a dedicated tartan. It's seen as an icon of Scotland and is used by various countries today. And in fact, Japan is the world's biggest importer of tartan.
Amazing.
Cool.
Hello Kitty has her own tartan. I
Yes.
love it. I, wonder
I
what
have
it looks
heard
like.
that the tartan stuff, like, yes, like, that's true, but a lot of the tartan stuff took off in the Victorian period when they were, like, being nostalgic about history. And so then it, like, extra took off. And so a lot of, like, families and smaller clans that historically never actually had a tartan were like, well, shit, we got to get our own tartan,
Yep,
you know?
I can see that.
Well, when I was in Brigadoon, our family was in blue. Tartan.
Okay.
blue.
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 I put Hello
So-
Kitty's tartan on the drive.
Luck.
Scotland has the highest proportion of redheads,
Oh.
which isn't surprising. And
They're
Scots,
endangered.
yeah. And Scots also are more likely to have blue eyes than the rest of Europe. The southeast of
Oh.
Scotland has the highest proportion of blue-eyed residents in the world at 57%.
Well, look at
Dang.
us go.
Well, blue-eyed babies.
Oh, little babies.
The raincoat was invented in Scotland by a man named Charles Mackintosh, who was born in Glasgow.
That's why in the UK they call it a Mac.
Yep.
Return of the Mac.
Oh, so good.
They call
I know, I love
raincoats
that
Macs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Macintoshes.
Didn't know. Okay, Amanda, you'll like this fact too. Oh, this is another word I don't know how to pronounce. The Makelure Beech hedge which is 4 miles south of Blairgowrie, is the longest hedge in Britain and the highest of its kind in the world.
For some reason, that
Cool.
feels like the most British fact of all
Yeah.
time.
Look at the photo.
Largest hedge. Whoa.
Look at the
Oh my God. That's a forest.
That's a hedge. That's a hedge.
Amazing.
That is
That's a
a hedge.
hedge?
That's the world's biggest hedge.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Wow.
It's recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the highest hedge in the world.
Lock.
Great privacy.
It was planted
Yeah.
in 1745 and is 1/3 of a mile long and 100 feet high.
Jesus. If only the farmer who built the poop wall in one of my GAC episodes
Yeah.
had this.
Yeah.
The hedge technology.
Mhm.
Well, it obviously wasn't always this tall. It's thought that the men who planted it were called to fight in the Jacobite rebellion. Jacobite. I don't know. It's been a while since European history. And none of them returned alive. So in tribute, the trees were allowed to grow and the hedge acts as a living landmark to them. The hedge is
Cool.
cut and remeasured every 10 years, a complex operation that takes 4 men approximately 6 weeks to complete.
Wow. Quite a jab.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Edinburgh Castle sits on a volcanic plug. Speaking of uterine
of plugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting into all the plugs.
all the volcanic plugs, honestly. Oh my God, this is so weird. The shortest commercial flight in the world is from Westray to Papa Westray in Orkney, and it's approximately 1.5 miles long and takes 47 seconds.
Why do they
God.
even bother?
Well, maybe because like
They're
the
islands.
The sea is too rough
Oh.
sometimes. I don't
Okay.
know.
The Orkney
It's a little
area
puddle
is,
jumper.
is islands, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. Dory, that
47
makes sense.
seconds.
That's nuts.
God, I know. Imagine the fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's odd.
Mm-hmm. The longest echo inside a man-made structure was recorded in Inchendown Tunnels, which is a World War II fuel storage facility near Invergordon in Ross-shire.
I like how Lucy
Wow.
approaches every Scottish
The
name.
apprehensive. I don't think I'm doing this right.
Invergordon.
Every syllable seems to sneak up on me. It's like not what you expect.
Sure.
Invergordon in Ross-shire. So they fired a gun down into these tunnels and recorded a 112-second echo.
Weird.
Whoa. Ugh.
I know, it's really eerie. Okay, my last fact and the thing that makes me most want to go to Scotland. The small town of Bonnybridge has more than 300 sightings of unidentified flying objects reported every year,
Wow.
making it the UFO sightings capital of the world.
Weird.
Whoa.
I
Yeah,
have to go.
I gotta go. I gotta
You
go.
gotta go.
Trying to get back to Skara
I gotta go for the Bray, for the UFOs, and the haggis, because apparently it's not that bad.
I would totally try haggis.
Mm.
It's spiced.
Mm.
Just a
As
mashed
a
up
brat
brat.
gal. Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah, I
brat.
guess it's similar to a brat.
I love a good sausage.
I'm not over this hedge myself.
All right.
You're not. It's too tall for you to get over it.
as we contemplate the hedge.
As we wrap our minds around the hedge.
Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors.
You guys, Nova Scotia. You know, I'm a maximalist. I am never content with enough. Okay? Why settle for enough when you can have more? And Best Fiends always satisfies your need for more. There are always more puzzles. There's always more fun. There's always more me time. It is absolutely the best. You know that I love Best Fiends more than anything. I'm on level 2,632, I think. And I have never tired of this game because they do all these amazing seasonal challenges. They put in little mini games. It is so much fun. I love it. And once you download Best Fiends, you can play it anywhere, even without an internet connection, which is great because sometimes we get stuck without Wi-Fi. We're all traveling again, being on the plane. It is the absolute best game to play on a plane. Though I do like being connected to the internet because I'll also like log in with my Facebook and then I can see what friends of mine are playing Best Fiends and then how quickly I am passing them in Best Fiends. It's super fun. And throughout the game, you collect tons of fiends that get powered up as you play more levels. So every win brings new challenges, thousands of puzzles to play, and new in-game events are added all the time. They are so fun. Like I said, they have all these fun seasonal ones that you can do. It's the best. So with thousands of levels, there's always more to play. Go ahead, let enough is never enough be your mantra. Download Best Fiends for free from the App Store or Google Play. Plus, earn even more with $5 worth of in-game rewards when you reach level 5. That's Fiends without the R, Best Fiends. Okay, so whether you're super booked this summer because you've filled up every day with all of your summer plans, or you're more like a plans? What plans? I'm not leaving the house person over the summer. You're gonna have to like tell people either way. Try to catch me again in the fall. I'm busy. I've got pool days. I've got pride parades. I've got bachelorette parties. I've got beach vacations. I've got it all waiting for me, and it's a lot. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to help make this summer the most comfortable one that you will never forget. Because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to do is worry about butt sweat. Okay, butt sweat can be a thing of the past with MeUndies. I have officially, not burned all of my previous underwear, but like discarded it. I accidentally put on some underwear the other day that was not MeUndies, and the second it touched my butt, I was like, this is not my underwear. How were these still in here? I had to get rid of them. And when you're comfy and you're feeling good, you're more present to enjoy all of your summer plans or your zero plan summer. Both sound amazing. It's like science or something. So MeUndies has the lightest and most breathable fabrics to keep you cool and comfortable wherever you go. From undies, bralettes, and socks to loungewear, they have swimwear. Like, if you can imagine how incredible the swimwear must be, if the underwear is this good, you can find something for all of your plans. MeUndies also releases new prints all the time, like their limited edition Pride collection. You can match with your partner, your friends, you can even match with your dog. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small to 4XL, and MeUndies has a great offer for our listeners. So for any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off. For a limited time, if you sign up for their free-to-join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. So we're giving you all kinds of exciting little deals right now. So to get 15% off your first order and 25% off your first membership item, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/gals. That's MeUndies.com/gals and treat your butt.
So this is a sad case.
Oh, I'm shocked.
So let's do it.
Really? Wow. Way to get something new on the books.
Shaking it up.
Really shaking it up.
It is a very famous case in Scotland that I had never heard of as an American. So
Mine's also famous that I hadn't heard of.
Oh my God. Okay, so Arlene Fraser was a 33-year-old mother of two who vanished from her home in Elgin, Scotland on the morning of April 28th, 1998. And normally I only do geography for England. But this case is sad, and I had to lighten it somehow.
I had to do something.
And also, there are some amazing place names near Elgin, so what the hell?
Okay.
So I don't know if it's Elgin or Elgin. I'm going to go with Gin. Elgin is situated north of Fogwart.
Yes.
And Maggie Knockator.
Okay.
She's no gator.
Maggie Knockator. Maggie Knockator.
Don't knock her till you try her.
It is due south of Lossiemouth.
Oh.
Southeast of Cummingstown and Doofus.
Oh,
Yes.
doofus.
And northwest of Fockabers, Dipple, and Ordlequish.
Dimple?
Dipple.
Ordlequish?
These are Harry
Ordle
Potter names.
Quish.
This makes no sense.
Yeah. Did you catch the Ordlequish?
Sorry. Today's Ordlequish was really hard. I
Yeah.
wasn't
I
able
haven't
to
done
do
today's
it.
Ordle.
I haven't done today's Ordlequish either, actually.
I haven't either. I was just making a joke.
Oh.
Well, we all forgot to do it.
Let's take a quick break to do the Ordlequish. Just kidding.
Okay, back to Arlene. So she was last seen as she waved goodbye to her 2 children, son Jamie and daughter Natalie, from the doorway as they left the house for school, and was reported missing after a friend arrived at her home for a planned lunch date around noon that day, and the friend found the house empty.
Hate that. That's like one of my biggest fears. I don't want to discover.
Oh,
Well, you
the
don't have
house
to
empty?
search the house.
It just freaks me out. I just want to go to lunch and not have to worry that you've disappeared.
If
That's so
I,
much to ask.
if I showed up at one of your houses to find it empty, I would search it. I'd want to discover you.
Oh,
Well, I don't think the friend got in the house. Maybe she did. Maybe they didn't lock the doors. It's rural Scotland in 1998, so maybe she did go inside. I don't know. But it was suspicious that they had this lunch date and Arlene didn't contact her and wasn't there. So, friend reports her missing. There's a massive police investigation that takes place following her disappearance. But this turns up no witnesses. Nobody had seen anything at all suspicious that morning. She waved to her kids as they went to school, and then by noon she was gone. So neighbors quickly organized search parties and plastered posters around Elgin, but all of this was to no avail. Police did have one potential suspect, though, and can you guess who that might be?
the
The
husband.
The husband,
They did it.
Nat Fraser.
King Cole.
So Nat was extremely involved in the organization of these search parties and efforts to bring awareness to her disappearance.
Classic.
But classic, exactly. But also, at the time that all this was going on, Amanda just did the Ordlequish as I'm talking. As I am telling her this case, and she is
pretty good.
working on the clock.
Yeah,
She did the
yeah.
Ordlequish.
Listen, I can't pay attention without doing something else.
Oh my god!
No, I'm
Okay.
playing Best Fiends.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
listening.
Okay. So he's involved in these search parties and all this shit. But what many people didn't know initially was that at the time that he's doing this, he was actually out on bail for attempted murder
Oh, good.
after his brutal attempt to strangle Arlene to death in a prior incident.
Okay, so he'd already tried to kill his wife at least once.
And nobody fucking pieced this together.
Well, that wasn't very public knowledge in Elgin. Obviously, the police knew. But they
Right.
can't, he's out on bail and they can't prevent him from taking part in the search parties. And a lot of the neighbors and friends and stuff didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so they think he's the grieving husband.
Right, helping. Ugh, I hate
It's
him.
Fucked up. So Nat Fraser came so close to succeeding in this first murder attempt that, as the police department would later reveal, Arlene was the only live victim they had ever sent to a forensic pathologist for examination after the attack.
Okay,
Whoa.
wait. So when he tried to kill her the first time?
Yeah, it wasn't just take pictures of her bruises, she survived.
Whoa. Yeah.
And it wasn't just the standard, take photos of her for evidence. They were
This is so violent. We need further.
well, she was so close to death from the strangulation
Oh.
that they sent her to a forensic pathologist who could really examine in depth how close she came
Whoa.
to
Ugh,
dying
that's
because
so
it
Oh,
was
that's so
like
scary.
examining a corpse that had been strangled.
Oh my God. Oh, no. Mm-mm. No.
Yuck.
So,
I'm in a dark place.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that attack occurred in March of 1998. And immediately after Arlene was released from the hospital, she initiated divorce proceedings against Nat. And he was out on bail, but not living in the home with her at the time of her disappearance. So that is also why he wasn't the one to report her missing. It was the friend.
Sure.
He also stood to lose as much as £250,000 in a potential divorce settlement, as well as custody of the couple's 2 children, because, like, he tried to fucking murder her.
There's your
Yeah.
motive.
And so if she divorces him, he's not going to get much.
Yep. Won't see his kids again,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty compelling motive.
But despite having a clear motive to murder his wife, as well as having very recently already fucking attempted to do so, Fraser was, upon being questioned by the police, dismissed as a suspect
Oh, good.
in
Good.
her disappearance because they found his alibi convincing.
Mm. Mhm.
So he worked as a fruit and veg salesman.
Mm.
A
And
greengrocer.
Yeah, and he had been out completing his regular route that morning alongside a coworker. So, like, he did have an alibi, but that doesn't mean that he's not involved,
Right.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
So, although initially treated as a missing persons case, once months had gone by with, like, no trace of Arlene, the police began speaking of the case in different terms.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They're
this-
presuming her to be dead now.
yeah.
Mhm.
Which there's absolutely no physical evidence. Like, there's no blood. There's no, I think in the US, in order to presume someone dead, like, more time has to go by, or there has to be, like, evidence
Compelling
of
evidence.
significant blood loss or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's like 10 years without finding them,
Right.
or, yeah. a
In
lot of
this
blood.
case, I guess it must be different there. I think because he had tried to murder her previously, they were able to kind of jump to that conclusion sooner.
I also don't know what the situation is, obviously, in Scotland, but like in the US, say, God forbid, a child or a family member goes missing, I think you can petition to have them declared legally dead.
After like 7 years, I think.
I think it's even earlier than that, and that it's like automated
I thought it was 10.
at like 7 to 10 years. I can look this up, but I think you can petition for it.
Mhm.
It's probably more like 5 years. It's like a significant amount of time.
Right. Well, this was just a few months, but I think I think it was the right conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, we've seen entire cases hinge on circumstantial evidence. Assuming we're giving police the benefit of the doubt, or assuming that they are diligently working on this case, they may have had reason to believe, beyond just our own speculation, that she was dead.
Well, we're going to get to a few more sketchy things.
Okay.
So, the senior detective in the case, Detective Chief Inspector Peter Simpson, stated in an interview that, quote, "The only conclusion that's still left open to us, which I firmly believe has happened, is that something criminal has taken place here and that Arlene has been the victim of a crime. I am of the opinion that she's dead. There's no indication that she's living somewhere else."
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she didn't pack a bag. She didn't take
Yeah.
her shit with her.
And
She
when
left
did this
her
take
kids.
place?
What?
What time?
1998.
Okay, so there would be credit cards. They would have ways to find her. if
She'd
she's
have
using
a passport. She'd have a driver's license.
bank
she'd-
account information. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
And there's just nothing. Probably
Mm-hmm.
no cell phone, but, there's just...
There were other ways to track at that time.
Right. So the investigation would become the largest and most comprehensive presumption of death investigation ever carried out by Scottish police.
Wow.
However, the shift from speaking about Marlene from, like, missing to presumed dead,
Mm-hmm.
most people agreed with it, except for
I wonder.
one very vocal critic, her husband, Nat Fraser,
Mm-hmm.
who insisted from the beginning that she had left of her own accord, even though
Yeah,
how
okay.
could he possibly know that?
Right.
Yeah.
He's just making himself way more sus.
He
Yeah.
just can't help himself.
No.
And he tried to back up this story with evidence that Arlene's friends and family found extremely dubious. So, for example, soon after she disappeared, a hypodermic syringe was found underneath their bed. And Nat explained it to loved ones that, like, Arlene was struggling with drug use.
Okay, bitch. No.
And everybody was like, no, she's not. Like,
You're an idiot.
like, there's been absolutely no history of that or sign of that. No. Like,
Fuck off.
yeah. It's just so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He also claimed that Arlene had been having affairs with other men, something that everybody also didn't believe. And according to one source, quote, all part of his strategy to create this illusion she'd gone missing was that she had this dark side. But her family never bought into that. She was fundamentally a good mother from the get-go, and they knew that. And she has a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Which, like, people with kids can struggle with substance use disorder and all kinds of stuff. But if there's no history, then, yeah, you can't just out of nowhere say, oh, JK, she does heroin.
Yeah, I found one needle.
Yeah, that's not the same as finding, like, pot wrapped up in somebody's sock. It's like, this is a little much.
Yeah.
In fact, despite Nat's airtight alibi, police had also been growing more and more suspicious of him due to his other behavior throughout the investigation. So one of the first incidents that raised suspicions had to do with Arlene's wedding rings.
Uh-oh.
Her family had found them hanging on a peg above the bathroom sink 9 days after Arlene disappeared. But police had photographed and videoed the house in the days after the disappearance.
Oh, no rings.
And the rings had not been there before then.
Yup. He had them. He pocketed those fuckers.
So they suspected Nat of placing them back in the house to make it look like Arlene had taken them off before, like, fleeing the marriage and abandoning her kids.
Yup.
But also, if you're going to do that, you'd pawn them.
Yeah.
He's not
Hello.
smart.
He is not smart.
Pay that fucking train fare to get out of Dodge.
Right? I wouldn't leave him. I wouldn't let him beg money from him.
Fuck no.
This is also really fucking creepy. Arlene's father would also inform investigators that soon after his daughter's disappearance, Nat ominously told him that, quote, the Bairns will soon forget their mother.
Oh my God.
Meaning like the children, the Bairns.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh.
The Berenstein Barons.
The Berenstein Bairns.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's so fucking sad.
Mm-hmm. And like, no, they won't. They're
Yeah, are
10
you
and
fucking
5.
kidding me?
Oh,
Yeah.
10? No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
What a
not. They won't
lunatic.
forget their fucking mother.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to justify what he did to himself.
Yeah.
He's a psycho.
Police also became suspicious of Nat's habit of showing up at the police station every few days, displaying what they came to believe was faux concern, or at least a level of concern that didn't make sense for a man who claimed to also be convinced that his wife left of her own free will.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, which is it? Are you
Yeah.
sure that she left and is still alive and is fine? Or are you so worried that you have to show up seeing if there's any new info every 3 days?
Yeah.
He wants to know what they know.
Yeah, of course.
He wants to stay close.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
And he thinks he's outsmarting them, and he's really fucking not, I assume.
Mm-hmm. But with Nat's alibi and no concrete evidence against him, basically no physical evidence at all, they believe that they may never be able to prove that he was involved in her disappearance.
No! Is he still free?
We will get to it.
Oh, my God. He's right behind you.
He's
Oh
there.
my, don't fucking do
He
that.
now lives in Minneapolis.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, I can't.
So the big breakthrough in the case actually came from looking into one of Nat Fraser's close buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Police discovered that shortly before Arlene's disappearance, his friend Hector Dick
Oh, no.
Rodney Lynn.
Oh my God.
Hector
That's worse than Hot Rodney Lynn.
Dick
Yeah.
had purchased a secondhand Ford Fiesta in what seemed to be strange circumstances. So, like, Hector had his own car. He had no need for this shitty secondhand Ford Fiesta that I'm assuming he bought in cash.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanic who sold Dick the car told police that he'd been paid an extra £50 in exchange for quote, remaining quiet about the sale, which, like, obviously he later did not honor.
It's like,
Oh
okay,
my
so
God.
cops, get a load of this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? I already have the 50 pounds and you just
If
made
you-
this seem really sketchy, so I'm going to remember it.
If you slip me money and thank me for like my discretion,
Oh.
I am going to tell
Woo.
people so fast.
So fast.
that
I'm
no
going
one's
straight
ever-
to Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Everyone's gonna know.
You
Everyone's
just made
gonna
it
know.
juicier.
Yep.
My ADHD ass would have forgotten this ever happened,
Mhm.
except for now you have pinned it in my brain
Right.
forever.
You've made it a
Mhm.
core memory. You fucking idiot.
Next time I pay you guys back for something in cash, I'm gonna just be like, I appreciate
you for your
discretion.
discretion.
For staying quiet. For keeping your trap shut. You just send me Venmos, and it's always for that.
For keeping your trap
That's my new
shut.
Venmo memo.
For your
God.
discretion.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it.
So Hector Dick claimed that he'd been I know. Claimed that he'd been asked by Nat to find a new car for Arlene to drive
Oh, sure.
after the family's previous car had been found torched outside of their home a few weeks before.
The fuck?
The circumstances surrounding which are unclear, but draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, he
He's
did
a
it.
fucking lunatic, abusive bastard, and he lit her car on fire to scare her.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Guarantee it.
Yeah, like right around the time that he tried to strangle her to death, he lit her
my
car on
fucking
fire.
God.
Mm-hmm. And also, she's divorcing you. So why would you be buying her a new car? But
Right.
why can't you buy it? You have to have your friend buy it, and you have to have him buy it in cash and ask for discretion.
Yeah.
It all tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this makes perfect sense.
However, police were unable to trace what happened to the Ford Fiesta, leading them to believe that it had been used in Arlene's disappearance. The theory became that even if Nat Fraser had in fact been at work that day, he must have had an accomplice or accomplices and was involved. Finally, in April of 2002, so 4 years later, after her disappearance, Nat Fraser was charged with her murder along with his friend Hector Dick
Ugh.
and a third man named Glenn Lucas. In this interim 4 years, Nat had served 18 months in jail for the first murder attempt,
Okay.
which
Only
had
18 months?
somehow it had been reduced to an assault charge, and probably that's because he was able to plead a little bit, and Arlene was dead and
Right.
couldn't speak for herself.
Right.
Oh my
right.
god. Who the
That is
fuck
so
didn't
fucked
piece
up.
all of this shit together?
It was technically circumstantial.
Right.
Oh my
Without the
God.
actual like hard evidence, there's so little.
I know, but that is so
It's really fucking frustrating. Yeah.
And the
it's
fact that
horrible.
she disappeared from her house and like he had been living there up until like that month.
Yeah, he
So
could
obviously-
clean shit up.
Yeah, his DNA could be everywhere and it wouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they couldn't find the car where her, body was probably placed in. And they couldn't find her body
Ugh,
or a murder
it's
weapon.
So sad. It's so
if there even
sad.
was one, if it wasn't just his hands.
Right.
Ugh. Gross.
So, however, when the murder case for this presumed murder came to trial, the prosecution announced that they would not be proceeding with charges against Hector Dick or Glenn Lucas. Dick instead would be appearing as a witness for the prosecution.
Ooh, okay.
he turned
now,
Dick flipped.
Yeah, he
Dick
fucking
flipped.
sang like a canary. Dick flipped.
Gross.
So Nat Fraser would now face a charge of murder, quote, with others unknown. So Dick flipped, but in a way that he didn't confess
Right.
to actually being part of killing her.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they were like, okay, Nat Fraser must have had a different accomplice, but we won't name them because we all fucking know who it was. But
Oh,
whatever.
we need this info.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So after a delay in the trial to give Fraser's defense team an opportunity to interview Dick Flip and also Lucas, the proceedings resumed and Hector Dick took the stand. He admitted to burning and crushing the Ford Fiesta out of fear that it might link him to Arlene's disappearance. But he, didn't say that he had put her body in it or
Right.
it had ever been used to transport her.
I just fucked with the car.
I just bought the car secretly, gave it to him, and then later destroyed it.
For funsies.
Yeah.
I get it.
That tracks. He also stated that Nat Fraser told him he'd made arrangements for Arlene to be killed and had disposed of her body by grinding it up and burying it, conveniently not referencing the car.
Oh, God.
Hector Dick denied having any involvement in Arlene's disappearance or murder beyond purchasing and destroying the car. In January of 2003, Nat Fraser was found guilty of murdering his wife, Arlene.
Thank God, but it took fucking long enough.
Well, it took 5 years and we're very far from done.
Oh, great.
The judge in the case described him as evil before sentencing him to life in prison with a recommended minimum time served of 25 years. His defense team immediately announced their intention to appeal. They filed their appeal in December of 2003, which centered around claims that Hector Dick and several police officers had lied on the stand and that relevant evidence had been withheld from the defense. Sorry, I'm breathless. Fucking being pregnant is hard, y'all. Okay. And in 2006, Nat Fraser was released from prison
No.
pending the outcome of his appeal.
That makes no sense. If you are locked up for a violent crime.
I guess that's how it works over there. It's
You
not
can
how it
just
works here.
File an appeal and then be released.
Go home and wait.
And have a little vacay from the clink.
What on earth?
I don't get it. I don't get that part. But after a long and drawn-out legal process, his case ultimately went all the way to the Scottish Supreme Court, which ruled in 2011
No.
that, quote, the Supreme Court unanimously allows the appeal. It remits the case to a differently constituted appeal court to consider whether to grant authority for a new prosecution, and then blah, blah, blah.
Ugh.
So I'm pretty sure he was out from 2006 to 2011 while they were
No.
trying to see if he could get the appeal.
Oh, my God.
Did he kill anyone else
No,
Oh, thank
not
God.
that we know of.
that you know of?
So fresh proceedings were brought against Fraser for Arlene's murder, and he went back on trial in 2012. Again, he was found guilty, and this time he was sentenced to a minimum of 17 years in prison. During the sentencing, the judge told Fraser, quote, the evidence indicated that at some point you arranged for someone to kill your wife, Arlene, and dispose of her body. Thus, you instigated in cold blood the premeditated murder of your wife and mother of your children, then aged 10 and 5 years.
Fucking bingo.
The murder and disposal of the body must have been carried out with ruthless efficiency, for there is not a trace of Arlene Fraser from that day to this, and her bereft family continue to live with no satisfactory knowledge of what happened to her remains.
Ugh.
And Hector Dick has told the press, I hope Nat finally tells the police where he put her body and all this stuff. I feel like Hector Dick got
Knows.
off way too fucking
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
He helped.
He absolutely fucking
I think he
helped.
fucking knows where her body is.
He might have fucking done it for his friend.
Yeah. And so his friend could have kept his alibi.
Right.
Maybe he really didn't. He didn't do it, but he planned for it.
Right.
Yeah, he paid for it, but he didn't actually carry it out.
So Fraser is still serving his sentence today, and Arlene's body has never been found.
Ugh.
Her family, namely her mother Isabel and her sister, have spoken publicly in support of legislation that would not allow someone convicted of murder to be paroled if they will not reveal the location of the victim's body,
Oh.
which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Although it might be tough if you're like, well, I dumped her in the ocean.
Right. There could definitely be reasonable barriers to keeping that information from being known.
Or proven, they could say it, and then if you still can't find the remains,
Right.
Or somebody
what happens?
still could have been wrongfully accused of murder. So
Right.
then they don't know where
Then
the
they
body
can
is.
never be paroled. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tricky. However, as of 2013, Arlene and Nat's daughter, Natalie Fraser, who again was 5 years old at the time of her mother's disappearance, staunchly believes that her father had nothing to do with it and places 100% of the blame on Hector Dick.
I don't blame her. Whatever you got to do to fucking survive, and just, it would be so hard to accept that your father had done that. I'm not saying that she's right. I'm saying that, like, the trauma of that, I understand why
Right.
she's clinging to this.
Yeah,
Right.
I do too.
And I think her brother also is clinging to that idea. And I also think that I couldn't confirm this. I just saw articles saying that that Nat Fraser, so their dad's sister, their aunt, was the one who petitioned the court to be allowed to like raise the kids. So I don't know if that was granted and if they were raised by their father's sister. But if
yeah.
so, then they're going to be fed.
More favorable,
Yeah.
potentially,
Right.
reflections on the brother, on their dad.
Right.
I mean, I know my dad's a serial killer, and
And it doesn't change your opinion of it.
no, I love him.
And then the other
He's still my
implicated
dad.
the other implicated accomplice that we just don't know that much about, Glenn Lucas, has since died, and there just is not that much information about him.
Wow.
So that is the case.
Creepy, and I hate it.
Dang.
Thanks, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad.
It's really sad.
Oh, God.
Fuck
well,
that guy.
yeah, fuck that guy, and
And fuck Hector Dick.
fuck Hector Dick right in the dick.
Well, if they
And
did
I-
dispose of her the way that he claims, like grinding her up,
Yeah, there'd be no
probably
sign of her
not
anywhere.
probably not ever find her.
Oh, God, it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, great. Should we take a quick break to hear a word
do
from our
it.
sponsors? Okay, so a recent rabbit hole that I've been going down is the plastics rabbit hole. Thinking about all the places where we use plastic, where, we're consuming it, where we're wearing it, And if it's not like piling up at a landfill, it's incinerated and driving greenhouse gases and like microplastics that end up in oceans and drinking water and food. It's absolutely wild. So you might be more careful about using plastic in everyday life, but it's easy to overlook the plastic from synthetic materials in our closets. This is like something I did not think about. It's all the microplastics and the plastic used in our clothing. And Everlane has made it 90% of the way to having no new plastics in their entire apparel, footwear, and packaging supply chain, which is incredible. So to combat the last 10% that currently does not have quality alternatives, they have created the Next Collective, a fellowship program to boost innovation for ending new plastics in the fashion industry. Everlane is incredible. I have a lot of pieces from them. I have some really lovely, comfortable jeans, beautiful sweaters. One of my favorite crop top sweatshirts is from Everlane. I wear it all the time. And it's all so soft and so sustainable. So 100% of their shipping packaging is made from either 100% recycled plastic or FSC certified paper. 97% of apparel materials containing polyester and nylon are made from certified recycled fibers, and more than 1 million pounds of nylon and 9 million plastic bottles have been recycled. So you can do good while you're also wearing these high quality, absolutely timeless classic pieces for anyone's wardrobe. So let's talk about this fellowship program. This is a program that brings diverse perspectives together to clean up the fashion industry. Fast fashion and wastefulness in the fashion industry is a big problem. This year, they gave $100,000 in grants to entrepreneurs working to reduce new plastics, and applicants were considered based on long-term potential, community impact, collaboration, and each fellow kept ownership of all of their ideas and received $20,000 to advance their projects. This is amazing. I love how they are tapping into community resources, tapping into people who are already out there doing this work, and then providing opportunities to expand this work. It's incredible. So be a part of a movement for more sustainable clothing. Go to everlane.com/gals and sign up for 10% off your first order. That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/gals and sign up and treat your wardrobe. So one of my actual waking nightmares is bra shopping. It is awful. I hate it. It is so frustrating. I don't like the lighting in dressing rooms. I don't like how it seems like they crank the heat up so that when you're trying to get in and out of a bra to try it on, you're like weirdly sweaty all of a sudden. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know. But the nice thing about Third Love is that it really took all of that struggle out of finding the right bra for me. And I am especially in love with Third Love's 24/7 classic t-shirt bra that delivers on style and comfort. This is why it's their number one bra. Millions of people with boobs agree this bra makes the boobs happy. It seriously is so comfortable. I've talked about this before that I have like fallen asleep in this bra. Not like nap on the couch, fallen asleep, like gotten in bed, done my nighttime routine, and forgot I was wearing it, fell asleep in this bra. It's absolutely amazing. The online shopping experience is so easy, and the fitting room quiz will take all of the guesswork out of like what bra you need. It's amazing. So when I took the fitting room quiz, they helped me actually discover that I have not been a C cup for a really long time. They treat it like a personal shopper. Like this fitting room quiz is even better than a personal shopper. It focuses on size. It focuses on breast shape, current fit issues. I was always having like over the top spillage because I wasn't in the right cup size and I didn't have the right band size. It also like accommodates your style to find bras that are perfect for you. And for me, that was the 24/7 classic t-shirt bra. It forms to your body and makes your boobs look their best. The straps won't slip and there is no pinching or digging. I know you know those feelings if you have boobs. It is the worst. And if you don't love your fit, you can get returns and exchanges free for 60 days. And you're gonna love your fit. But just as a backup, you know, boobs can be finicky, and Third Love's team of expert fit stylists is available to answer all of your questions. So if you're not quite sure, you could just get some guidance on which bra is going to be best for you. So feeling is believing. Give yourself the 24/7 comfort and support that you deserve. Upgrade your bra today and get 20% off your first order at thirdlove.com/gals. That's 20% off at thirdlove.com/gals and treat your boobs. Care of is a subscription service that ships high-quality, personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your door every month. It is the easiest thing in the world. You know that I was not a vitamin aficionado. That is all Kenyon's lane. I was like looking for the gummies that I thought would taste the best and had like the most letters combined because I wanted to take like one thing. So I was like, okay, this is what A through D vitamins. Great. I'll just grab this. Is it strawberry? Great. I didn't know what I was doing. So you take a short, in-depth quiz about your lifestyle, your health goals, and then you get a personalized recommendation which helps eliminate the confusion and overwhelm around finding a routine that works. It is so easy because Care of provides personalized guidance. They provide quality products and tools to help you not only build healthy habits, but also measure your progress so you can feel confident that your routine is actually doing something. I love the little personalized daily packs. They come with little affirmations on them. I just keep them in my bathroom so that when I go to brush my teeth in the morning to get the day started, I can just grab a little glass of water. I see my vitamin packs. I can't forget them. They're right there in front of my face. I also love the powders that they offer from Care of. I have a matcha collagen powder that I put I like make a matcha green tea latte with almond milk a lot of the time in the morning, and it is absolutely my favorite thing. These are like some of my favorite products ever. And like I said, I didn't know anything about vitamins. Care of made it so easy and accessible. It's amazing. And each shipment comes with a customized booklet showing you exactly what's in your individual daily packs and why it was recommended specifically for you and your health goals. So you can go from what I used to be, a total vitamin newbie, to what I am now, thanks to Care of, a total vitamin expert. So for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code GALS50. That's GALS50. One more time, for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code GALS50 and treat your wellness.
Are you ready for my case?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, so you've probably all heard of this guy. I definitely hadn't because...
Mel Gibson.
Well, yes. Once again, I am the most out-of-touch true crime podcaster ever, and if, like, it isn't about the Green River Killer or JonBenet Ramsey, I don't know it. So, there you go. But
But today I am talking about Scottish serial killer Peter Manuel.
I don't know this person. At least I don't
neither.
think
Okay,
so.
good. Good. So he's actually Scottish American. His parents were Scottish, but he was born in New York in March of 1927, where he lived with his family until 1932, when they decided to return to Scotland after like one of the earlier epic Wall Street crashes that made it even harder for them to survive in the US. So he had a bit of a rough childhood, though from what I could see, his family seemed like normal and pretty well adjusted, but he was bullied pretty mercilessly as a child, which again, not correlation, not causation.
Yeah.
And as a young teen, he started getting into trouble with like petty theft, breaking into houses, like some of the more angsty kid shit. But this escalated when he was 15 and he started committing violent sexual crimes.
Okay, there we go.
The best kind.
I feel like
Yeah.
the break-ins, like,
They're a gateway drug.
Yeah.
Violations.
They
you get
watch
addicted to that.
people. Yeah,
Yes.
you take items. It's very personal. It's very intimate.
yeah, and it's really, really high risk. I mean,
Yep.
like, we did a lot of stupid teen shit and maybe trespassing, but not
We didn't break into
break-ins.
anyone's houses. Yeah.
No.
The worst thing we ever did was like cut through people's yards.
Oh, I broke into Diana's house one time,
That's different.
and I wrote red rum on her mirror and nail
I
polish.
feel like it doesn't count when it's someone you are in relationship
When,
with.
yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
your friend and you leave them a note.
Yeah, you're sneaking in to leave them a note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Because
did that
you
to
know-
my house, too.
Yeah.
She wrote red rum and lipstick on my closet door.
That
Yeah,
was
because
revenge
you-
because she thought you had done it when actually it was me.
Oh, great. I got
also-
in big trouble for that. My mom was like, what is it? I have to repaint. Ma. I was like,
And
I
also
have no
your
fucking
window
idea.
was never locked. Like we
Yeah.
could always get into your room.
Yeah.
Anyway, first Peter broke into a house and attacked the female occupant, Olga, who was asleep in bed, and beat her over the head with a hammer.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
He was 15.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So he is
fortunate-
a full-on,
psychopath.
yeah.
And sociopath. Fortunately, she survived, but he was not immediately identified as her attacker. I mean, she was sleeping.
Jesus.
So that left, like, she couldn't identify who did this. So that left him free to carry out a string of sexual attacks over the next year, for which he was caught and convicted, serving 9 years in the local Peterhead prison. Following his release, he was sentenced to 1 year in prison for breaking into a house. Like, right after he was released, he broke into a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got another 8 years for a rape he had committed while on bail from the charge for breaking into that house.
So just
Oh, my
totally
God.
compulsive. He cannot help it.
Yep. So he claimed that police had framed him and that Detective William Muncie, Indiana, who had been handling his cases for years, was simply out to get him. Which, like, may very well have been true, but, like, you're a serial rapist,
He's out
so
to
fuck
get
off.
me. He catches me every time I
Yeah.
break in and rape someone.
And rape someone. Wow.
He is
I'm
just
so-
on my case.
God, get off my nuts.
Off my jock.
Ish. So Peter was released from prison in the early 1950s and was completely reformed and went on to live a peaceful life without any threat to the community. The end. Special thanks.
Oh.
Sure.
I
Totally.
fucking wish.
I totally believe you.
JK. Actually, no. Peter went on a killing spree that would span 3 years and claimed the lives of at least 9 victims.
Oh my God.
In 1956, Peter met 17-year-old Anne Nealons, who he dragged to East Kilbride Golf Course, raped and bludgeoned to death with like a tire iron.
He is just so brutal.
Yeah, this is nasty.
Ugh.
Yep. Although, and we'll kind of get to this, but although he confessed to the murder 2 years later, the case was subsequently dropped due to insufficient evidence, and we'll go over that in his trial.
Oh my God.
He was also still breaking into houses, and one of these break-ins led to an arrest for which he was out on bail in September of 1956. While out on bail, he entered the home of Marion and William Watt and killed Marion, who was 45, her 41-year-old sister Margaret Brown, who was just like visiting or possibly living with them at the time, and 16-year-old Vivian Watt, Marion and William's daughter.
God.
They were all killed by gunfire while William was away on a fishing trip.
So he
Though-
had been scoping them out, probably.
Possibly. I mean, it's hard to know because he was just breaking into people's houses.
Right.
So, like, I think he would have done it whether or not William was home.
He would
I
have
think
just killed him too.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more coincidence that William happened to be out of town. So, though Peter was a suspect, the police initially turned to William and put all their efforts into investigating him while Peter skirted authorities.
Ooh.
Investigators were convinced that William had driven nearly 100 miles through the night, faked a break-in, killed his family, and went back to his fishing trip.
Jesus.
This seemed plausible
Yeah.
because a ferry operator claimed to have seen William on the ferry during the night, and like they had to take a ferry to get to wherever he was fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And another witness claimed to have seen him driving on a nearby road, and William was arrested and held for 2 months until the case fell apart due to ever-changing stories and confusion among the eyewitnesses who couldn't actually confirm whether it was indeed William they had seen or even what car he'd been driving.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like real loose.
I did
Oh.
see a man on the ferry.
I saw a man.
They wanted to be involved.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So police were still skeptical, especially as rumors of William's extramarital affairs started to pop up. But again, these are still just rumors, so we don't know. But another murder took place in a similar fashion mere miles down the road, like a couple of years later. And this led them to believe that they had a serial killer on the loose because it was like the
Okay.
exact same MO.
So that is when they finally stopped thinking it was William because they
Yep.
were like, oh,
Yeah, so they didn't have any evidence to continue to hold him. They let him go after 2 months, but they thought, like, police still thought it was him. He was a person of interest for like years.
that's so scary. Can you even imagine?
until Peter was finally caught.
Ugh.
Yeah. So then Peter shot and killed 36-year-old taxi driver Sidney Dunn in December of 1957. His body was found in moorlands in Northumberland within a few days of the shooting. So he wasn't like hiding his victims at all. He's just dumping them and leaving them or leaving them in their homes where he's killing them.
Yeah, he's like manic.
He is
Yep.
a fucking psycho.
Yeah, so he just like, I don't know, gets in a cab, has him drive him somewhere, shoots him,
Yeah.
dumps his body and takes off. Like, it makes no sense.
Ugh.
So Peter was never tried for this murder as it occurred in a different legal jurisdiction. But a jury later concluded that he was responsible after a button found in Dunn's taxi matched one of Peter's jackets. That same month, so December of 1957, Peter stalked, raped, and strangled 17-year-old Isabel Cook, who was on her way to a dance at Uddingston Grammar School.
Oh my God.
I know. It's so fucking
this
fucked
fucking
up.
monster.
It's the randomness of it is one of the scariest parts.
Yeah.
I really fucking hate
Yeah,
it.
it's got like Night Stalker vibes.
Yeah.
Well, he's just so brutal and so frequent and so
Yeah.
random.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. We'll get to it, but it's really nuts. So he was not initially connected with her murder, but later led police officers to the spot where he disposed of her body, likely in an attempt at skirting the death penalty after he was caught.
Mm-hmm.
This one is particularly creepy. The Smart family, Peter, Doris, and Michael, were shot dead in their Uddingston home in the early hours of New Year's Day in 1958. Michael Smart was just 10 years old. After the crime, Peter remained in their home for nearly a week, eating leftovers from their hogmanay meal.
No.
Hogmanay.
Hogmanay.
Hogmanay, dumping their family car, stealing cash, and even feeding the family cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
spent a week hanging, and the family with the dead bodies were in the house. I mean, he
Yep.
didn't like do anything about
Yep.
that.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh my
It's so
God.
creepy. So this last attack was the one that did him in. Though investigators had suspected him for a long time, they didn't have enough evidence to bring him up on charges until a search of the Smart family home. Peter Smart had withdrawn several $100s in cash, or pound or whatever, in cash on New Year's Eve. And the serial numbers on these bills, because they were brand new bills out of the ATM, like it just, or from the bank, it just happened to be brand new, matched cash that Peter Manuel was using at local pubs in Glasgow.
Mm.
So,
So
he's spending
he-
their money and he got caught.
So either the dad had just happened to withdraw cash and
Mhm.
he and this guy found it,
Yep.
or he like held the family hostage and made the dad go get cash?
No, we know that this was cash because there weren't ATMs at this time, so Peter like was at the bank. Like that's confirmed that like and it was before he was killed. It was like right before New Year's, getting that holiday money for maybe going out or whatever. And then he was killed. They were killed the next morning. Like he got this cash like for New Year's Eve or something.
Right. Okay.
And
that
then
makes sense.
Peter came and killed them the next morning, and then whatever cash was left over, he was using it, but they just knew from that previous withdrawal that these were brand new bills in a sequential order.
Right.
And so they were able to match the serial numbers to the money that he was using at the pub.
So the cash withdrawal makes sense because it was the holiday weekend. And,
Yep, exactly. So investigators raided Peter Manuel's family home in Birkenshaw and searched for stolen items from the Smart murder scene and arrested Peter and his father for breaking and entering, like just to get him in cuffs and off the street while they finished building their case against him in the remaining murders.
Okay.
So the police knew Peter really well, as they'd been tracking his crimes for fucking decades and were aware of his love of attention. So they left him alone in his cell for nearly 24 hours before interviewing him with the intention of like depriving him of attention.
Oh, I
for
love
a short
that.
period of time. So that as soon as they did pay attention to him,
He would spill.
he would gush. And it worked. Like they didn't even, he called out to them to come to his cell. That's how like deprived, after like 12 hours, he was like, come here.
That would work
Wow.
on you, Amanda.
Absolutely.
It totally would. It totally would.
Can you guys? I have something to tell you.
That's
I have
literally
a
what happened.
secret, though.
Yeah, weird. I have a secret. Come here. This worked, and soon Peter called out from his cell saying he wanted to help police with some unsolved cases.
I bet you do, buddy. Wait
He
your
confessed-
turn.
Yeah, well, he did, and this tactic really worked. He confessed to killing Ann Nealons, the Watts family, Margaret Brown, Isabel Cook, and the Smart family.
Jeez.
Some believe that he did this so he would be allowed to see his parents, with whom he had a very close relationship, and he was still living with them at home. But it could also be argued that psychopathic killers like Peter need to be the center of the story, center of attention,
Yeah.
and that like their original tactic to just get him to talk just was spot on.
Wow.
The one murder he refused to confess to was the killing of the taxi driver, Sidney Dunn. But as we know, his goddamn button eventually implicated him on that one.
That's another hot tip. Zippers.
Zippers only.
Oh yeah.
For fucking Velcro.
Oh.
So this is a quote from Crime and Investigation UK. Opinion was divided about Manuel's mental state. Some say he displayed many of the classic traits of a psychopath, lacking empathy with his victims, showing no remorse, and not accepting that what he had done was wrong. Doctors also described him as having fugue states, memory loss, and epilepsy. Those seeking to understand what drove Manuel to kill had to wrestle with some contradictions. He was someone who killed and raped women, yet doted on his own mother. So he didn't have the like Ed Gein mommy
Anger.
issues. Yeah.
Well, doting on your mom can still be a mommy issue.
Oh, totally.
Right.
It's just not the violent
Right.
ones that
Yeah.
we've seen in similar cases. He was cruel to animals, but was devoted to the family dog and took care of the Smart family cat.
So weird.
This could also all just be like an extra layer of manipulation. Like
It
he's
could
an
be.
advanced psychopath.
Maybe. I don't know.
So weird.
He couldn't maintain a relationship with a woman, but considered himself as a Lothario. End quote.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But like grandiose fucking
Yeah.
delusion is part of
Why
it.
did they arrest his dad too?
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
my
I
question.
think his dad, they suspected his dad of being part of this like breaking and entering thing. But looking back on it, I think that they arrested his dad mostly to like rattle
him?
Peter?
Yeah.
and that because they initially only brought them in on charges of breaking and entering just to get Peter off the street.
Or
so they
if-
released the dad pretty soon thereafter.
Or they could have been afraid that the dad would like tamper with evidence in the family
Right.
home or something.
Yeah, because the family's really close. So I think that it was mostly like a false, a red herring.
Another tactic.
Exactly. I think it was a tactic, and they had loose enough. It was the fucking 50s. Like,
Yeah.
what evidence did you super need to just arrest someone
Right.
and question them?
And hold them for a day or two.
Yeah, 24 hours,
Yeah.
48 hours, whatever. So I think that's all that happened there. The weirdest thing about his pattern was its lack of a pattern.
Yeah.
He had no clear motives in any of these killings except for the sexual gratification of the rape and murder of Anne.
He did kill 2 17-year-old girls.
Yes, but he only sexually assaulted 1, I believe.
That's so weird.
It's really weird. He was careful not to be seen, which meant there were no eyewitnesses to place him at the scenes. The method of execution was not consistent at all. Some victims were shot as they slept. Some were
Bludgeoned
shot
as
like,
they slept.
Yeah, some were shot like the taxi driver while they were awake. Some were strangled. Some were beaten to death. It was all over the
There's
place.
a hammer, there's a gun, there's strangulation, there's
Yup.
Jesus Christ.
tire iron.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There's a candlestick in the
There's a
library.
candlestick,
Yeah.
there's a rope.
Shit.
So despite stalking Isabel Cook, all of the victims appeared to be random crimes of opportunity, like except for her.
I think he stalked that family and knew that the husband was going to be out of town. But then, against that very theory that I just said very confidently,
Yes.
the other family, he didn't care that the dad was home.
Did not give a shit.
Yeah.
I really think it was a coincidence that William wasn't home.
Yeah.
And in the case of the Watts family, Peter seemed to get a
Sorry.
sick
That's
satisfaction.
what you get for thinking out loud.
Yeah, no, I get it. I
I
feel you.
think, but actually,
But
also
actually,
the
I don't
opposite.
think that anymore. Yeah,
But I'm
no,
now
just
going to
kidding.
refute the exact statement I just said really confidently.
And here's why.
We were in debate in high school.
Yeah,
Most argumentative.
love
Senior
it. With
superlative.
yourself. And in the case of the Watts family, Peter seemed to get a sick satisfaction out of like torturing William, the surviving husband,
Yeah.
after the fact, because police eventually found letters that Peter wrote. Because Peter wrote a bunch of letters to like different potential legal representation, figures in government, like specifically about this case, trying to be like, please represent me, I didn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And he also wrote weird letters to William after murdering his entire fucking family.
Oh my God.
And William initially believed these to be like pretty benign letters because he'd received condolences in the mail after the case had gone so public.
Mm.
But Peter's letters apparently contained information that only the killer could have known.
So it's not like he signed them as him, but he
I think he did. But they were just like, I don't think William pieced it
believed
together.
it until later.
And I don't even know if William recognized who this guy was. Like, it's the 50s. If, you know, the police knew who Peter was, but like William may not have been paying attention. And this letter is lumped in with all these other letters that he was getting
Shit.
regarding how famous this particular case
Oh,
got.
how horrible.
And so, yeah, like, it's just so fucking fucked up. And these letters would be used as further evidence to his guilt at trial. And the trial was an absolute madhouse. Peter was given the nickname the Beast of Birkinshaw,
Yuck.
which is really creepy. And Peter, 31 years old, and I hate to admit it, like kind of conventionally handsome, drew crowds that would line up around the block to get a seat in like the public gallery for this trial.
Ugh,
Ew.
horrible.
That shit going down, the like fandomania around the fucking Depp Heard trial and how they wait to see them drive away. It just grosses me the
It's
fuck
so
out. I
gross.
hate it.
I'm not into that at all.
No, not a fan. So almost immediately, Peter fired his lawyers and chose to represent himself.
Oh my God. It is psychopath bingo.
Yeah, it's like narcissist psychopath bingo. He fucking loved attention. His first tactic was to retract his previous confessions that he had made to the police, claiming that he only did that so the police would back off of his family, because remember, they had arrested his dad. Once again, from Crime and Investigation UK, quote, the judge rejected his efforts to have them withdrawn and ruled that they could be admitted into evidence. The court heard evidence from the police about the banknotes belonging to Peter Smart, which Manuel had spent in Glasgow bar in the days after the murders took place. The jury also heard about Manuel's damning confessions and previous criminal convictions. In his defense, Manuel claimed that he had known the Smart family for years and that Peter Smart had asked him to get a gun. He said he had found the bodies and thought it looked like a case of murder-suicide. And as far as the murder of Isabel Cook was concerned, he had claimed to have been at the cinema that night.
Okay,
It's
great.
like that's his alibi.
Great alibi, and also pretty hard to be a murder-suicide when you continue feeding the cat after
Right.
your own death.
Yeah, for a week. So the trial lasted 12 days before the jury was dismissed to deliberate. They returned with a verdict in less than 2 hours, which is always a good sign for the defense. After being instructed to deliberate on 7 of the 8 charges, because the judge ruled before dismissing the jury that in the charge of rape and murder of Anne Neeland, there was insufficient evidence to convict. And this case was thrown out.
That sucks.
Which, yeah, I can't even imagine how devastating that must have been for Anne's family. But
you don't, at the same time, if they're all lumped together, you don't want him getting off
yep,
because
on everything.
Because of one
Exactly.
case.
So fortunately, Peter was found guilty on all of the remaining charges, and he was sentenced to death. But the drama did not end there. Peter spent his last days trying to convince authorities that he was clinically insane and could not face the noose as a result of his mental state. But he wasn't successful, and even his own mother, in her final visit to him before his execution date, slapped him across the face as he faked some kind of fit. And screamed, "You can't fool me!"
Oh my God.
The drama.
Tough love from mommy.
I know, the mommy that he doted on and loved so much.
Those were
smacked
her
him right across the
last
face.
words to him.
Yup.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that dramatic? I love it. Yeah. So he met his end on July 11th, 1958, and his last words were, "Turn up the radio and I'll go quietly." Well, fucking shudders.
Jesus.
And if you want more of this drama, there is a 3-part series called In Plain Sight, and you can stream it, I think, on like Acorn and Amazon.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
Wowza. It's a lot to process. This is a lot to take in.
Isn't that like a whole lot?
Yeah, it is.
It's
really
so much.
Fuck that guy. I mean, he obviously
that guy.
was insane, but just the standard psychopath serial killer insane where he
Psychopath bingo.
Yeah, psychopath bingo, where like he knew it's wrong.
Oh,
He
yeah.
snuck around and like
Yeah.
tried to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda.
He did his due diligence.
Isn't that like a whole lot?
a whole lot?
It's
I like don't
a
know.
whole
How,
lot.
I don't know how else to explain it.
Jesus Christ, it is
Isn't
a whole
it just
lot.
a bit much?
This one is a bit much.
Isn't it just?
It's
It's kind of heavy.
Fuck
so
that guy.
much. Anyway, that's Peter Manuel.
Okay, well,
Hey,
special
Peter.
thanks this week to
Scottish crimes.
Yeah. Special thanks this week to our fan picker, Jordan Brown, and their sister / gateway gal, Kendra.
Oh, love it.
Also, special thanks to Alexis G, because I just found your note that came with the huge jar of goat bones.
Oh,
Nice.
love it. Send us a pic. I need to see this jar.
Yeah, I'll put it on the drive. It'll be on the blog.
Love it.
All right,
Thanks,
well,
Alexis. Thanks, Jordan.
we'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers.